gorgeous fall night. A little bit cold, though. So, in a bacon and eggs breakfast, what's the difference between the chicken and the pig? Well, the chicken contributes, but the pig is committed. I know, it's bad. I only wish my children were here to hear that awful dad joke. But there's a point, and I know it's kind of a silly joke, but I think it fits with today's gospel reading. Some gospels are very simple. Some gospels are more complex, and they need to be unpacked before we can understand them. This is a simple one. The challenge stands before us. It stares us right in the face, and we are forced to confront it, because this passage asks us, how far are we willing to go? The rich man wanted to be involved, but when Jesus invited him to be committed, he couldn't do it. He valued his money so much that he wasn't willing to let go for the opportunity to gain something even greater. So he walked away. Today's gospel is a transition point for Mark. It's especially important because it's at the end of Jesus' ministry. From here on out in the gospel, it's all about the passion. So this is an ending. This is a challenge time for Jesus, and that's why at the end of his ministry, we hear him set up this little test for the man who has watched him throughout the days of his ministry, and now it's time to answer the question: is this man ready to take the next step in the relationship? Is he willing to follow Jesus to the cross? And even beyond that, it's time to stop playing around. I'm sure that if we all thought about it, we could come up with certain moments in our lives when we, or maybe someone that we know very well, faced a similar choice. The choice to dabble, or the choice to give that up for something even greater. These big choices are important, but what we hear today in the gospel makes them pale in comparison to the reward that's being offered there. You think that that choice would be easy. It should be simple. If I asked each of you to take $1 out of your wallet or purse, and then I pulled a 20 out of my own wallet and said to you, would you like to keep that $1 in your hand, or would you like to trade it for the 20 in mine? Now, my wife would not be happy if I did this, because you all know that you would trade for that $20 bill. It's obvious. So why is it so much more difficult to see it when it comes to these questions about our relationship with God? The reality of this gospel is that Jesus is saying, I am the whole of creation. Do you want all of this, or are you willing to settle for just a little bit of it? Should be easy. But then why do we struggle with it? Why does this gospel upset us so much more than many others? I think, and I know it's true for myself, it's because it's a real problem for most of us. We want to say yes, but we still want our very comfortable Williamsville lives. We like our stuff. Today we should be asking ourselves, how are we like this rich man? What is getting in the way of us moving forward with Christ? What is Jesus asking us to give up because it gets in the way of this invitation that he's offered to each of us? It may be money, but for some of us, probably most of us, it's something completely different. It could be fear, it could be anger, power, sex, I don't know, and I can't answer that question for you. I can answer only for myself, because that's between me and God. Are we committed to Jesus, or do we still allow the stuff in our lives to take our attention away from God? We're being offered a share in the whole of creation, so why do we hesitate to reach out and grab it? Why do we continue to hold on to that $1 bill when so much more is being offered to us? I think it's a really good question to think about this week. Shifting gears a little bit, because the gospel offers us an opportunity as well. I think there's a consolation in the last lines of the gospel. Making that choice to trust God completely, to give everything to Him, is incredibly difficult, but we're not doing it on our own. That choice we have to make. God forces us to make that choice on our own, but He is there to support us through it, to give us strength. We are weak, but with the help of God, we can do anything, just as the last lines of the gospel say. For human beings, it is impossible, but not for God. With God, all things are possible. So the question in today's gospel is simple. It's difficult, it's profound, but it's simple. What's getting in the way of us saying yes to Jesus? And what's it going to take for us to dump that to the side and say yes and to join Him, to commit fully to God? Pray this week that God gives us, and He's with us, to give us the courage and strength to choose to commit, to put God before all other things in our own lives.
Friends, I invite